kind of check in and see how everyone was doing tonight. I'm hoping that you're all doing well. So, what have I been up to? I have been making phone calls every day, checking in with the families in the area, just wanting to know how they're doing with the shelter in place, what experiences they're having, and just really what's going on. So, wanted to try this new format, Be Live uh, forum, and so it's linked to the Facebook page. So I hope everything is connected well. I see. Hi, Mason. I wish you were able to join me on here, but go ahead and we'll just go through it this way like we were going to be doing it with you on the screen. So if anybody has any questions or comments, please jump on and we can go from there. I'm just going to pull up some information here that I wanted to just kind of touch base on. So some of the calls that I've had were from some parents that I think are realizing the importance of education and the value of our teachers and administrators. We as parents entrust our beautiful treasures into the hands of the education system. And then when something like this comes up, we, of course, maybe not as well prepared as what their teachers, instructors, and things are in school. So, as you know, a lot of instructors, schools, both locally, really, I think worldwide, they're going to e-learning, and so it's important that students don't get left behind. One thing that has become very clear is the need that every student deserves to have the opportunity to be able to learn, whether they're in the classroom or whether they have to do it at home through e-learning. And what I'm hearing is that some students, some families don't have access, and there's a real inequality there. Then, so if I'm down in Springfield, and I know that Governor Pritzker wants to do this, it was something he campaigned on, was to have broadband from one to the top to the all corners of Illinois. And I think that is becoming very clear and evident that broadband is a necessity, especially in these e-learning um, times that we're going through. So hi, Kayla. Hi, Natalia. Thanks for joining in. So I've talked to parents that are a little overwhelmed, and I believe that the teachers and the administrators, superintendents are everyone is working very hard to keep the students learning throughout their time, I think, till what would be considered the end of the year. So make sure that as a parent, you are communicating with your child's teacher, with your student's teacher, whether they're from pre-K into higher ed as well, if you need to. Teachers, I know, are trying to be available as much as possible. I know my husband, Tom, teaches at Dixon, and he's actually transitioned really well to the e-learning. And his students are enjoying their Zoom classroom. He's noted that they seem to be better prepared and ready to have dialogue, which is really a great thing. That's what learning and everything is supposed to be about. So I think that when you incorporate the new technologies that we have, I mean, there might be some little hiccups along the way, but for the most part, if we all work together, we can get these kids to make sure that they are educated and ready to go. I was able to join in on my granddaughter's. She goes to Kitty Campus, and a group of 4-year-olds in a Zoom classroom is pretty hilarious. So the teacher learned very quickly that muting is a good thing. You can't do that in a classroom. So to have that ability in the Zoom classroom is really pretty cool. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I don't know if anybody else has any questions. Let's talk e-learning. Yep. So Mason, anything else? I know that I had a thought, and if this is something that school districts are going to be transitioning into, who knows, with the fact that they are expecting possibly another spike in the fall, whether classrooms will be full. And I know that there's conversations for fall. With college, for our young adults going off to college, what should they do? Should they anticipate heading off to campus, or should they just decide to stay in the area and do online learning, and maybe even possibly go through one of the junior colleges? Sauk Valley Community College has great online programs and classrooms. I know that they're adjusting to the online curriculum as well, and I'm sure Blackhawk is as well. Okay, Natalia says, how do you think we can help students even more that may not have access to the internet or necessary help that are usually given in classrooms? So it's called, we have to communicate, and parents have got to have that connection with their teachers, with the principals, if that need be. I was just thinking that possibly if the teachers, depending on what grade level they're at, if they can't connect through the media of internet, that of course they know they're doing packets, and parents are picking up paper packets for them. But what happens is, packets get sent home and kids are doing packets, but parents aren't exactly connected to what the lesson is, and what the end result should be. And so maybe it's at a time when the teacher's not available to call up, or she's only got one line and she's helping someone else. I was thinking that we could bring in our paraprofessionals or our substitute teachers. I was a substitute teacher for a semester, and I got called every day to go in to one school or another. So I'm thinking if we can have a group of substitute teachers available that could then be contacted, through parents, either through phones, that way, if they don't have the ability to be online. So that might be something as we move to the future of our learning. So Mason, kids who have learning disabilities often have someone with them in classrooms. How are those children learning without that help, especially if both parents work? Yeah, that's exactly that's a problem. And again, if we could bring in the paraprofessionals, those aides that normally accompany them, again, though, if they're not able to access the computers, that would be something that would have to be communicated via the phones. And I know that can be very difficult um, to do. So one, we need to have the superintendents and the principals aware that these considerations. Do I have any teachers out there that can chime in and help out with how they're addressing that situation for those with learning disabilities? If not, that's definitely something that is we need to look at. Hi, Laverne. I hope you're doing well. I know you've got some teachers in your family. Wondering how they're transitioning over to the e-learning. Let's see, did I get all of those questions? I think so. So another thing that has been brought up during some of my phone conversations has been the laying off. A lot of the people have expressed their the fact that they've lost their jobs. They know it's temporarily, and they're very anxious to be getting called back to work. Um, the situation is this: it's not easy. The federal government put forth the policy and then left it to the states, and then now the states are trying to catch up. And so I know that Illinois Department of Employment Services really got hit hard with the number of applications, which is definitely to be expected in this challenging time. I do know that in 1 month's time, they were able to process what they normally do in a year. So IDS, they're working overtime. I believe it's 10-hour days, 7 days a week. So it's not for lack of trying, and the fact that they definitely know that they need to get to the people and get their claims in. So hopefully that will be speeded up. But you are, I did get a message from somebody. Let me just see if I can read that out. So they had a massive surge in claims, is what I was told. And they are actually getting together. The state of Illinois is putting together, they're contracting out with a system that will expand the amount of processing that they can do. And then for those that are self-employed, you're encouraged to apply regardless of traditionally what the unemployment process is. And then you will be put into the PUA, which I believe is, I'm not exactly sure what the PUA system. So that's going to be in May 11th, and then that will then get that backlog taken care of. So, hi, Marianne. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're doing well. I know you're probably enjoying your grandkids. Let's see. I think many kids, hi, Maggie. Let me see what you've got to say. I think many kids will not be starting a new grade level in the fall. I'm sure there are many parents just letting the kids do their assigned work on their own. Video teaching, I don't think so. So I know that through the district that my husband is, I know that the teachers are doing a little bit of video taping classroom lessons depending on what grade level you are in. And they're also going to the Zoom classroom, which is very beneficial. I understand your concern, Maggie. I think that because this came at us to a point where, the schools were closed and there wasn't a real time to get the structure and the strategy of what needed to be done. They're doing the best that they can. I believe going into the fall, there will be assessments going on to see where these students should be at. No parent wants to see their student held back, but this could be a chance for us bringing in new ways of teaching, that possibly you add on the e-learning along with the classroom as we go, to catch those kids up. Tutoring programs, definitely something that the Illinois State Board of Education is going to have to look into. So, okay, anybody else have any questions, concerns? So, this is all new. We are in uncharted territory. But, I have to say, in my conversations, there are many that have a real positive attitude. They understand that this is something that needs to be taken seriously, and that it is for the betterment of the community, for the people that are in those high risk situations. We don't want to overburden the hospitals. We are a rural area, and there are people that, aren't in Sterling or Rock Falls where CGH is, or in the Quad Cities, it might take them a 20 to 30, 40-minute ride to get to a medical provider. So we have to consider those situations as well when we are thinking about taking every precaution possible. Okay, Caleb, my sister Lacey teaches special education at Challenge, and she may be able to help answer some questions. Yeah, Caleb, if you could, maybe message her to message me, and then we can set up a time to chat. Natalia, with the stay-at-home order being extended, many teens have been going out with their friends because they're sick and tired of the rules. Do you think Pritzker should lay stricter ground rules so this doesn't happen? Well, I agree that I think that we all feel like the walls are closing in. Um, you know, with the nicer weather, it means that we want to get out and about, and with our socialization of how we, normally socialize, it is going and doing things. And our young people, I guess, with young people, we always feel like, we can't be touched and we can't be hurt. The thing is as parents, we need to help guide those young people and help them to understand that, this isn't just about me. This is about your family. This is about your community. And the fact that we don't know if we're carriers, or that, we don't have any symptoms, but that doesn't mean that we haven't been exposed. And then you go and walk into a house or a room with other friends and family, and then they disperse and they take that with them to their friends and families. So I do believe that Governor Pritzker is trying his hardest to lessen the restrictions, to do a soft open. But if I'm pretty sure, though, he's been clear that if he sees that a lot of people are congregating and we see a spike, we'll probably go right back to shelter in place. And, that's just going to extend it all the way through the summer. So I think it's best to do it now, to stay in, wait for the drop in the number of diagnoses that we're seeing. We had over 2,000 newly diagnosed today, and I think the number was 1,800 and something yesterday. So every day there's a little bit of fluctuation, but it's not going down. We haven't hit the peak yet, I don't feel. So we need to listen to our health professionals, and Governor Pritzker's put together a really great team, and I think they know what they're talking about. So we just need to make sure that we are listening and be calm and patient, and know that we're doing this for the good of our community, for our neighbors, for our friends, and our family. I don't think anyone out there wants to risk losing a member of their family. So it's just better to stay put. Wearing a mask, I did get a couple questions from one family had just come back from wintering in Texas. They made a dash as quickly as they could up here, but now they're left with the fact that masks are going to be in order May 1st. It took me all but 5 minutes to go on Facebook to put a plea out for masks, and I was able to get one for all of my family members. So what a great resource that, our community is coming together, and those that are talented and can put their masks together, we can get those out there. And again, the mask isn't going to keep you from getting exposed. It's going to keep what you have, the germs that you have, it's going to keep them to you. So if we all wear a mask, we're going to really reduce the potential of passing those germs and the possible virus off to those that we are in close contact with. So anything else? Well, I'm hoping that we can I want to plan these on Tuesday at 7 o'clock. And so that if you have questions that will be coming up through the week, you can message me through Facebook Messenger, or you can jump on next Tuesday at 7. My goal is to bring some people in that can help address some of the frustrations, some of the things that are getting in people's way, some professionals, and have that conversation that you can go to as well. So I don't see any other questions on. Let me see if I can go to my other page here and see. I do hope that you're all staying safe and healthy, and that you're able to be patient. You know, it's difficult. I really want to be out and about, going door to door, but the phone conversations have been great, and so we will just continue doing that as we need to then. So hazard pay. Oh, good. Yes. So hazard pay has been in the discussion. I know that there are some businesses that are bringing employees back, especially if you're on the front lines. You know, you're in the medical field, or you're at the grocery store. If you're in one of those positions that has constant influx of the public being around you, I believe that you know, hazard pay is something that should definitely be offered. I mean, you are putting yourself out there, and you are able, you know, could run the risk of being exposed. So should we give raises for essential frontline workers? You know, I believe that the businesses that, you know, that's something that they need to consider. But the bottom line is, uh, your your business is only going to be as successful as the workers, the employees that you have doing the work, and you can't afford to have them being ill and losing that capital for production. So I would hope that that would be definitely something. Hazard pay raises for those essential frontline workers would be, I think, apropos. Definitely something that should be discussed. Again, that's for the businesses to do. But I think in the long run, they would definitely be far better off ensuring that their employees knew that their bosses cared enough for them to understand that they are putting their lives in risk, in harm's way, and taking that back to their families as well. So great, great idea, Mason. I definitely agree with it. So it's raining, storming here pretty bad. I'm gonna give it another minute. I don't want to keep these long, like I said, just basically checking in. So I hope everybody is doing well. Thanks to those that got on board and offered some comments and questions. The one thing I take away from my conversations is that we are all in this together. We're stronger together, and so we can ride this out. So until next Tuesday, you guys, I'm going to sign off. Hopefully I can get somebody on with me next week to help out and get those direct questions answered, and see where we can go. But until then, take care. Thank you so much. Be well, be safe, stay home, and I'll see you next Tuesday.